Yeah. I'll call the regular session meeting for July 20th to order. If we can stand to pledge the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first order of business is to do the oath of office for our newest board member, Mr. Robert Smallwood. So, Mr. Smallwood, if you would get up, and Judge Rusu is going to be doing the oath right there, it'd be great.
All right, welcome everyone. I will have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Robert Smallwood,
I, Robert Smallwood,
do hereby swear or affirm
do hereby swear or affirm
that I will uphold
that I will uphold
the constitutions of the United States
the constitutions of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
the laws governing the state of Ohio,
the laws governing the state of Ohio,
and the policies and practices
and the policies and practices
of the Canfield Board of Education
of the Canfield Board of Education
as they relate to my position
as they relate to my position
as a Canfield Board of Education member,
as a Canfield Board of Education member,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully,
serve to the best of my skill
to the best of my skill
and ability.
and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. It's an
Appreciate it.
honor.
Appreciate you being
I
here.
think I got you.
You did.
You got me. Got you. Yeah. So I got you too. So only one more, and then I'm good, right? Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Smallwood, you can join the stage now.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Judge.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you, Bob.
Congratulations, brother.
Thanks.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Atway, President.
Here?
Mr. Campbell, Vice President. Mrs. DeCapua?
Here?
Mr. Smallwood?
Here?
Mr. Wilkerson?
Here.
At this point, we would now like to recognize our 2022 retirees. Today we have 5 to recognize, and first I think we're going to start off with our licensed staff, Miss Patrice Lurie. If she could come up, that would be great. She is retiring after 30 years of service as a guidance counselor, so congratulations. Next, the classified staff, Janet Egan, if you would come up. I was speaking with her outside, 22 years of service as a van driver, and she let me know that she has the distinction of also being the first van driver from Canfield to retire. So congratulations. Pete Coolis. Is he not here? Not sure. All right, well, he's retiring with 10 years of service as a bus driver, so congratulations and thank you to him. Paul Schmidt. Paul is retiring with 25 years of service as the CHC head custodian, so congratulations. And last but not least, Mr. Bob Shuttleworth. Bob is retiring with 19 years of service as the CHS custodian. Congratulations to Bob. Let me get out of the way. Thank you all and congratulations. Thank you for your service.
Thank you all very, very much. Enjoy retirement.
Next is the presentation of the minutes. We have 4 sets of minutes for the June 15th regular meeting, the June 30th special meeting, the July 8th special meeting, and the July 13th special meeting. We received those in advance. If everybody's reviewed them and can have a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved. Wilkerson.
Second, DeCapua?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes. Next up, our treasurer is going to review the reports for May.
Okay, these are reports as of May 31st. Still working on tweaking some final June, because that's our year end. So you will see those at the next board meeting. The appropriation report, you will notice we're at 93% of the budget spent and appropriated after 92% of the year has passed, or 11 out of 12 months. So we are still in line with the budget. A check payment register, I'd like to point out on page 3, middle of the page, Myers Equipment, $193,000. That was for 2 buses that we ordered almost a year prior to that, about 10 months prior to that. One of those was a handicap bus. And the purchase order register, the new items start on page 12 that you haven't already seen. Then one of the big items on page 14, you'll notice Simon Roofing for $280,000 for the repair of the middle school roof, which they've been working on. I don't know if it's completed. Do you know,
The roof?
Joe, the roof?
I
No,
see
it's-
Mr. Rubin.
They're still working on
Being
it?
staged and ready to go.
Okay. And then the other on page 15, at the top of the page, the one-to-one computers for next school year, $658,000 to MNJ Technologies. And as of today, I believe we have received all of them.
Correct.
And then investment holdings, I did reach out. I'm getting some rates on CDs. I'm probably gonna lock in some this month. because the rates have gone up and they're a little bit more attractive than these money market rates at Star Ohio and Farmers. But the money market rate and the sweep account rate have almost doubled since last month, so you can see how those rates are rising. I don't have anything else to report unless you have questions.
No. Any other questions? If there are no other questions, can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved. DeCapua?
Second, Wilkerson.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes. At this point, we have the public comments piece, and I don't think did we grab it?
Do I need to
No,
go
I'll
get
have, Mr. Rubin, do you mind running to grab that for us? It's up front. And just for those of you, I see a lot of new members in the audience, so just for those of you that might have signed in as he comes up, there are some rules that we typically follow, and we will continue to follow. So you have 3 minutes. When your name is called, I'd ask that you state your name and your address for the record. I'll start a timer. Once the 3 minutes are up, where the timer goes off, where you're at in that discussion, I'll probably gracefully ask you to end. So if you can just know that you have that 3 minutes, that would be great. If you do less than 3 minutes, that's fine. And then we do hold it to 30 minutes as a maximum capacity speaking, so for today's meeting. So in case there's greater than 10 people, we would hold it to 30 minutes.
Chris Thomas?
Yeah, you can use that mic there.
Chris Thomas, 6791 Kyle Ridge Point, Canfield, Ohio. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. My name is Chris Thomas, and I'm here as the president of the Canfield Wrestling Boosters. I wanted to explain a little bit about why I'm here today and why I chose to attend this meeting. In the past, I had faith that the superintendent and the board had the best interest and safety of the kids at the forefront of everything they do. I no longer believe that is the case, and I hope tonight is the first step in regaining that trust back. In order to fully understand my concerns and the safety issues that I believe we have as a school district involving the wrestling program, we need to go back a year. The mats in the wrestling room were condemned by the health department and needed to be replaced. These mats are used on a daily basis by youth, middle school, and high school wrestlers. In addition, they are used by swimming, cheerleading, gym classes, and even special education gym classes. I believe that the whole cost of this should have fallen upon the school to replace, but they chose to pay for only 1/3 of the $46,000 bill. The lack of concern for these students' safety was startling to me, but we raised the money to provide a safe environment for the kids. My latest concern is the number of high school coaches that are paid for by the district. A bare minimum number to provide a safe environment for both JV and varsity teams to compete, since they're usually competing in separate venues at the same time, is 4. When we compare that to some of our other Division II rivals, Beaver Local, West Branch, Alliance, and even Louisville, they all have 4. And if we even look at a smaller school in our own neighborhood of South Range, they also have 4. The reason that 2 coaches are so important to be at each one of these events is a safety issue. If a participant or an athlete gets injured, we need somebody to be there with the athlete or with the team, and somebody to tend to the safety issues of the athlete being injured. This should not be the responsibility for the safety of our student athletes of the booster groups or of an unpaid assistant coach. We originally requested a 4th coach during a 6:15 meeting with Mr. Cochran and told it had to go to the superintendent. On 6/16, an email request was sent to Mr. Knoll, which went unanswered for almost 2 weeks. On 6/29, another email was sent and the board was copied. On 7/11, our request was denied by Mr. Knoll, saying Mr. Cochran agreed with him that no coach should be added. In subsequent conversations with Mr. Cochran, he said that is not an accurate statement made by Mr. Knoll. So tonight, I would like to formally request a 4th coach is added so the basic safety of our athletes are being taken again in the forefront of what we do. I know you all have kids, and the safety of our student athletes should always be the number one thing we do. And nobody in good conscience could say that that is not the number one thing we should be doing. So I ask all of you tonight to think about this request for a 4th coach to be added for wrestling, and I would welcome any further conversations to see how we could facilitate that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank McKeon?
Frank McKeon. I live at 220 Glenview. All of us are aware of the tragic shootings in schools, the latest being in a Texas elementary school. This is not the first mass shooting in an elementary school. Here in Canfield, we have a resource officer in the middle and high school. Why not the elementary schools? Do these students not deserve the same protection? Where is the parents' outrage? Elementary schools have been targeted. This is not the first time I have talked to the school board about this oversight. Student safety is the responsibility of the school system. There has been some thought that we have police and sheriffs within a few minutes, but a lot of damage can be done in a few minutes. Have a resource officer at the scene is our best option. For the next school year, let's plan to have all schools with a resource officer. Now is the time to plan for and arrange for these officers. Cost should not be an issue. The school system should bear the entire cost. Right now, the high school resource officer is paid 50% by the school, by the city, or by the school, and then 50% by the township. The middle school officer is paid for 100% for the school year. The remaining 3 months of these officers' time is paid by the city taxpayers. The school is supported by our taxpayers, and now the city has to subsidize the resource officers for 3 months with city money. This practice should end with the next contract. All the school's entry points should be secured. No one enters without being vetted. A point that I have wondered is what is to prevent someone from bringing a weapon into a school in a backpack or concealed? That is some food for thought that I think we ought to look at. I will grant that the chance of a mass shooting in our schools is a remote possibility, but the consequences are tragic. Let's be on the safe side. The ball is in your court. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McKee.
Carl Sheets.
My name's Carl Sheets, 6161 Whispering Meadows, Canfield. I'm here this evening to speak to you about Canfield Lacrosse. I thank you for this opportunity, greatly appreciate it. And I want to thank the retirees for helping our kids and doing everything they could to get them through the school. As the president of Canfield Lacrosse, I'm here to speak about making lacrosse a full funded sport that it was meant to be back when it was given the board's approval to become a recognized sport. In 2016, the school board approved it as a sport on a pay-to-play basis that would eventually grow into a fully funded sport. At this point, we are still pay-to-play, and we are still paying our coaches. However, I ran into Mr. Vito at a AMVETS meeting or American Legion meeting, and we were told that, or I was told that possible coach pay was going to happen. So we're looking to see how we can do that. But also, we want to be recognized as a full school sport. Back when it started in 2016, Jim Klingensmith and TJ Dapolito, who are some of our originating founders, and unfortunately they both passed in the last 2 years unexpectedly, met with Mr. Jordan. And there was a 4 to 5 year plan that was given to show that lacrosse, as it grew and it could prove its success, would reach the boundary needed to become a funded sport. And that's 6 years. We've grown from 45 boys from 5th grade to 12th grade to 45 boys in the high school alone. Same thing with the girls. So we have proven our growth, and with the middle school being a feeding program and growing at the same rate, we believe that the program is just going to keep expanding. Lacrosse is the #1 sport in the country at the moment, or growing sport at the moment. My apologies. We've also had great success. We've gone further this year in the playoffs than any other time in the history of lacrosse. Both teams unfortunately lost to the state runner-up, Chagrin, and they were great competitors, and we held our own against them, but unfortunately they won. We have our first D1 scholar. We've been in the top 3 of collegiate scholarships for athletics in the last several years with all the other sports, and we hope that you'll consider funding us as a full program instead of just a pay-to-play with, partial support with busing and other items like that, and uniforms, which we appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheets.
Dan, I'm not sure, I can't read. Okay.
Dan Van Duzen, 1465 Fredericksburg Drive, and I'm here representing the cross-country boosters. We're talking about numbers, and we're about 53 high school athletes and about 45 to 50 middle school athletes. We've actually been growing, developing. We've got a kid who's going to be running Division I now, technically, because he's graduated. But we are having kind of a difficulty raising enough funds to have enough coaches to build a sustainable program. Parents, we've basically had to raise the money to pay coaches and assistant coaches, except for a head coach for several years. The middle school, fortunately, that is funded. But I think because of the numbers of kids, the vast distances literally that we cover, these are 5K races, they take a lot of ground. We really do need to have 4 coaches total. They can be 2 heads, 2 assistants or something, but it helps with the JV. Oftentimes the races are at different times. You got starting lines, finishing lines. You need to have adults who are well trained all over the place, but it also helps each runner develop more. When you have basically right now a 53-to-1 ratio, it makes it very, very challenging for people to develop, particularly the kids who might be a little bit more quiet, and then could really use the encouragement. And I think we've raised as much as we can for the last, I've been involved with this organization about 6 years now. We really could use additional support from the schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
That's it. All right. I definitely appreciate everyone's comments today on all topics, in particular with the boosters. I will make a couple comments just because I think it's been an ongoing debate for quite some time in regards to athletics and coaching and the numbers. And I probably say it's prior to my election and to Mr. Knoll's hiring, and it can probably date back to, I think Mr. Wilkerson and Mrs. DeCapo told me about it, and it was started maybe in 2019, where at the end of the day, I think a dialogue needs to occur. This is something that probably needs to fall back in athletics, and it needs to work with the athletic director and the coaches. So I think I'd like Mr. Knoll to make sure that you can ensure that Mr. Cochran has a meeting with our coaches in the capacity where they can look at a proposal that would be best suitable for all sports. I think the key is fair and equitable for all sports in developing a proposal. And I also just want to kind of reinforce the fact that if anybody thinks that the school board is not in support of student-centered activities, in particular athletics, that would be wrong. I mean, I think you can see it from each one of us as a board member has had or currently has students that are athletes in one particular sport or another. So that would definitely not be the case. But I just think that that needs to be the next step. And just I appreciate everybody's feedback for the comments that they've made. And Mr. Makia, your feedback on safety is duly noted as well. Any other comments? All right. Next up, we have some new business personnel.
Okay, so we'll do some hiring of our licensed staff on exhibits number 1, Victoria Dapolente, middle school Title I tutor, effective for the 22-23 school year at $19.32 per hour. Ashley Marks as the high school intervention tutor, effective for the 22-23 school year as well at $19.32 an hour. And Stephanie Doherty, intervention tutor, effective for the 22-23 school year at $26.34 per hour, funded by ARP, which is in exhibit number 1C. For our daily subs for this coming school year, $110 a day, Amy Hensel at C.H. Campbell, Kaylin Holloway at Hilltop, Carolyn Church at Middle School and Jason Morrell High School. Classified, Donna Davis, bus driver, 4 hours per day at $20.89 per hour. And Ms. Davis has been a summer driver since 19. And Leslie Hunter, C.H. Campbell Playground, 885 days a year, 2.5 hours per day at $14.90 an hour, effective for the 22-23 school year as well. Exhibit 3A. All of our extracurricular hirings, those that are enclosed in resolution number 1-2023. And the resignation of Ms. Stacy Hoover as the high school guidance secretary effective August 15th of 2022. Those folks as presented.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the personnel hirings as outlined in A, B, C, D, and E with the exhibits as shown? And the resignation too.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Second. Wilkerson.
I heard that. I said any discussion.
Oh.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
And recommend adoption of policies for a second reading, those found in exhibit number 6.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion approving the adopting policies second reading as outlined in Exhibit 6, please?
So moved. Wilkerson.
Second.
Any discussion? So this is our second and final, correct?
Yes. It'll be official after tonight.
Very good. Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
So we need to appoint a delegate and alternate to the OSBA annual business meeting that'll be held on November the 13th. Just take a couple nominations.
And this
Anybody interested?
is our Columbus one, right? Did you do it last year? Who did it last year?
I'm never here.
Oh,
I'm never here that time.
which one did we go to in Columbus?
The newest member.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
actually trial by fire. I nominate Mr. Smallwood. Am I allowed to make that
second.
nomination?
Third.
Oh, boy.
All right. There you go. That's,
We probably don't need an alternate because he'll be there.
he'll be there. We'll make sure. Mark your calendar.
Matt should be the alternate.
That's a good
Not
one.
present. Mr.
There,
Hamble?
there you go.
He is the alternate.
I love it.
Okay. We don't need any action on that. We'll just note
Okay,
that
we just-
for the record, okay?
Excellent. All right.
And then we need to approve some exchange students. So from the ASSE organization, Lucia Pons Mendy from España, and our friends from Rotary, Rakio Magia Chernopolov from Argentina.
Okay. I guess this is probably the first time because I don't think I've seen.
It's been on hold for a few since COVID.
So, all right. This will be our first. My first one.
Program down for COVID, so this is the first year.
Okay.
that This is back in place.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve our exchange students from the ASSE and the Rotary as presented?
So moved. Smallwood.
Second DeCapua?
Any discussion? I guess I'll just say it's great to see that it's back up and running,
Is
so
is
that
this a
we're,
year program?
What's that?
Is it a year program?
Yeah. it'll be good for
so we'll be
the entire
clear.
school.
Okay. Excellent. Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
So we'll make a motion to approve our grant program application for fiscal year 23. We have IDEA Title I, 2A, 4A, and IDEA Early Childhood.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the grant program applications for fiscal year 23 as presented?
So moved.
Second, Smallwood.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
And believe it or not, it's time to approve our bus stops
I saw those.
as per attached with some possible changes along the way. It's a little early. It's on exhibit number 6.
The big question is, will we have any new buses by then? But I don't think so. Based
Good question.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the bus stops as attached in Exhibit 7?
So moved. Wilkerson.
Second, Smallwood.
Any discussion?
So has there been a lot of changes to the bus stop list, or is it pretty much the same?
So none added, none deleted type of thing? Yeah, I guess that would make sense. All right, well, hopefully we get new buses by then. Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
And recommend adoption of resolution number 2-2023, declaring transportation practical for the students listed on exhibit number 8.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion adopting Resolution 2-2023, declaring transportation impractical for students listed as presented in Exhibit 8?
So moved. Smallwood.
Second,
Any discussion?
can you define this, please? I know it, some
I'll have
people
him define it because I don't do
don't
more.
understand what exactly this means.
Oh, go ahead, Mr.
So
Knoll.
we have students that do not attend our schools but live in the district that choose to go elsewhere. And in lieu of us transporting them, because of some restrictions there are, some of it's how many minutes on the bus, we can declare them ineligible, but in lieu of transporting them, pay the family a dollar amount, okay, to make them in. So that's how that rule works.
Roll call.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes?
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes. Next is our donations.
For no
Ms.
trip.
Prince, yeah, I have that one.
Coca-Cola Give, $27.35 for the Middle School Principals Fund. Mark Davis, $200 for the Kate Farragher Memorial Trust Fund for the Arts. Kerensky Tax Service, $409. T-shirts for Wellness Walk. The total cash donations for July, $636.35.
Thank you to all for their donations. And
I have a quick question. So I know that everybody has seen that, you know, Mr. Watkins has passed away, past superintendent, 27 years in the district. And that I saw in the paper that that there is going to be a memorial, is it a scholarship fund set up in his name? Okay.
We've already received donations.
Great. Okay.
They'll be on next
Got it.
month's report.
Thank you.
excellent. Can I have a motion to approve the donations as presented?
So moved. Smallwood.
Second, Wilkerson.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
And recommend the adoption of resolution number 3-2023 to proceed with renewal of a 5.9 mil current expense levy on exhibit number 10.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion adopting Resolution 3-2023 to proceed with the renewal of the 5.9 mil current expense levy as presented in Exhibit 10?
So moved.
Second, Smallwood.
Any discussion?
So this is resolution number 2 of 2, okay, that we need to approve. And this will allow us to put that renewal levy on in November.
And I will stress renewal. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. DeCapua?
Yes.
Mr. Smallwood?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Mr. Atway?
Yes. Last but not least, our
Just
superintendent's
got a
report.
couple things. Hopefully everybody in the audience and at home received your Cardinal communique. I appreciate all the work that goes into this. It's a lot of information, a lot of cool stuff. I've got a lot of good positive feedback about it, which I appreciate. But in my message, I put a little blip in there about a facility survey for all of our community to take. There's over 900, which is pretty amazing thus far. I'm gonna run it to the end of the month, just to give everybody, I'm gonna push it out one more time, basically tonight, and I'll probably put some things out to text our parents as well. 11 questions, kind of a quick hitter, but the board's interested in the feedback from the community about our buildings moving forward. So if you haven't done it, please take 5 minutes, maybe it didn't take that long to spend some time on that. The last thing I want to talk about is something very exciting for me. I hate to steal Mr. Vittle's thunder, but in his stead, I thought I'd take some time tonight to talk about our one-to-one initiative. I rolled that out back in May in the state of the schools, but he and his committee of teachers spent all of last school year researching, collecting data, visiting other schools, looking at devices, putting plans together. And I just want to call them out just real quick. Obviously, Mr. Vittle was our leader. Mr. Maroney, Mr. Slavin, Ms. DeFelice, Ms. Delfrat, Ms. May, Ms. Palumbo, Ms. Hockersmith, Ms. Bartell, and Ms. Wine. Those folks did an amazing job to get us where we're at today. One of my goals when I got hired by the board was to get one-to-one at Canfield. Took a little longer than I was hoping. Okay, we had a little COVID to get in the way, slow us down. But I'm excited that it's here. The other part of the good news is 2,500 plus devices are in Canfield, which was the other piece of the puzzle. I was hoping they were going to get here on time, but they are here. So just real quick, as far as a deployment plan goes, with our middle school and high school students, we're going to have some time set up the week of August 15th to come, pick up your device, get registered, take it with you. And middle school and high school kids will take their device home with them. Okay. Our elementary kids, what we're thinking is just the first week of school, right before we come for that 7 days prior to the fair, try to get all that taken care of as well. Our elementary kiddos are going to get their own device. It will stay in school, but they'll be assigned to that as well. So like I said, just real excited that we're there. Our tech guys are a little antsy because they got a lot of work to do this summer to get all that out, but I got total confidence in them to get that up and running as we move forward. So this committee also spent time on ideas of PD, professional development for our teachers as well. And this is really how a committee is supposed to work and run, and just really proud of their time and effort that they put into it. What we are going to ask is a device protection plan, is what we're calling it, a device protection plan. And we're going to ask that parents pay $30 per kid for this device. Okay, $30 per student. That's going to help defray the cost of damages that are going to occur, hopefully not very much. I got a lot of confidence in our kids. They're going to take responsibility and treat this device as it should be. But that will allow us basically to self-insure, self-fund when accidental things happen. So we'll talk more about that next month as well, but just wanted to get that out there, that $30 amount for that device protection plan. So like I said, just real excited that Canfield is moving to one-to-one, and the big part of it is not just the device, but integrating that into our daily teaching and learning here with our teachers in the classroom. I mean, that's the goal, that's the vision. So good news there, everybody.
Excellent.
That's all I have, sir.
I will just make a comment to that and just commend you on your ability to steer, I guess, stay the course on that. That was one of your hot buttons coming in. I think from a Canfield perspective, we were behind on the one-to-one piece, and to be able to now have that executed and fulfilled is a great thing for the students. So that's exciting for them. Thank you. If there's no other business, I don't see, I can ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, guys. Meeting's adjourned.